Welcome, Gary, online. Thanks for joining us. All right. We have item number 2, approval of today's agenda. This is an action item. Is there a motion to approve today's agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motioned in second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to 4.1, agreement and waiver of ULA hearing. This is an action item. Presenters Ashley Matson.
Good morning, Chair Nelson, School Board Director, Superintendent Wagner. Today presented as an action item is an agreement and waiver of a ULA hearing in regards to Ms. Edwin Sievertson. You'll note throughout the agreement, items of note regarding the timeline of the ULA, the contract language of the administrative unit, and the district's budget adjustments presented at the March regular school board meeting. If you do, Darcy, if you could scroll down to number 6. Listed is board consideration, which states the district agrees that the school board will review and request that Sievertson chooses to make, and any written materials that Sievertson chooses to present to the school board in support of not placing her on ULA. After reviewing the request and any written information that Sievertson presents, the school board may elect to alter its previous decision, or it may elect to finalize Sievertson's placement on ULA. So at this time, I would like to invite Ms. Edwin Sievertson to the presenters table if she so chooses to make or present items at this time. Good morning.
Welcome, Nikki.
There we go. Good morning. I'm just going to start with my letter, and then I have a couple points I would like to speak of as well. Members of the school board, I am writing to respectfully request a reconsideration of the recent decision to eliminate a 1.0 administrator position in our administrative unit and my recent placement on unrequested leave of absence due to the challenge of budget reductions. It is with an unsettling heart and a deep sense of responsibility that I wish to express my concerns with the current budgetary decision of eliminating an administrator principal and the impact that it has on the students and the overall education system in our community. Administrators and principals play a pivotal role in ensuring academic standards are taught. They provide leadership and support to our teachers, and they address the diverse needs of our students. I truly believe this is not in the best interest of our students, especially those attending Albert Lea High School and the Alternative Learning Center, and really in general, all of Albert Lea area schools. I believe this will have a negative consequence in the progress that our schools have made toward a safe, supportive, and a collaborative environment, the quality of highly effective instruction that our students are receiving, along with the overall quality of education and support that our students receive. Over the last 27 years that I have been a member of the Albert Lea area schools, I have always been dedicated to fostering an environment where every student, staff member, and family feels welcomed and appreciated, and have provided opportunities for our students to grow academically, socially, and emotionally. I've taken pride in the leadership roles that I have had, whether that be as a teacher leader or as an administrator, and I have consistently demonstrated my commitment to being a lifelong learner, along with being a member of our school district. My passion for the education system in this community is beyond any other, as I was born and raised in this community. I am delighted to give back, and I feel deeply honored to provide the best for our students, families, and staff. The decision to eliminate an administrator principal, my unrequested leave of absence, is one that I believe will have far-reaching negative consequences. Reducing a position that has a constant direct impact on students and staff will jeopardize the quality of education and the support our students in Albert Lea area schools receive. I fully understand the challenges posed by our current budget constraints and appreciate the difficult decisions that must be made. However, I firmly believe that maintaining this administrative role is crucial for the continued success and support of our students, staff, and overall education environment. Our priority should be to keep the interest of our students at the forefront. Eliminating an essential student-focused role such as an administrator or principal diminishes the support and our ability to provide educational excellence and a well-rounded education. I would like to remind you as our school board that you have the authority to revisit and amend this decision. Considering the significant impact of this reduction, I encourage you to explore alternative budget solutions that would enable us to retain this essential position of a 1.0 administrator principal. Thank you for your time and your attention to this matter and your continued commitment to our Albert Lea area schools and students. Another thing I would like to point out, I know we, at the last board meeting, talked about enrollment is decreasing. I'd like to remind you at the high school level, secondary level, it is increasing, and we won't see that effect until years to come. And that this budget cut is affecting our secondary schools.
Thank you. Executive Director Mattson.
So this is an action item. Ashley, do you have anything to add?
I was just going to note, this is an action item for today's agenda.
So I would entertain a motion. It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Dave.
Chairman Nelson, could you read the motion to me?
The motion is to, it's to approve the agreement and waiver of the ULA resolution that you received.
Yeah, thanks.
Sorry about that, Gary. Dave?
Yeah, just two quick things. I just want to make a comment that I think some of the budgetary concerns that we're looking at isn't just declining enrollment. It's also the rich contracts that were agreed upon and signed this last year. So I get where it's coming from, and I don't like cutting this close to the students. And then finally, I'd like to, are you going to do a roll call vote with this too? Okay, good. That's it.
Thank you. Angie?
I had just a couple of questions, and maybe they'd be better for the next item too, but so I know with the rearrangement of the staff that we did in, was it May? We cut the assistant principal position, but as part of that, did we also add a dean position that is new to help under Jeff Halverson? Was that correct?
No, thank you for that question, Director Hoffman. What we did was some realignment. We moved back to the TOSA model that existed in the ALC prior to moving out to Riverland. So bringing that back, we just used the existing person in that position and reclaim those dollars to then create a TOSA to be the lead for the ALC.
Who was in that position before? I'm just trying to wrap my head around it.
So at the time, we had a licensed principal that was overseeing the ALC, as in that summarized document that I had sent. So we reduced that position, and we did not reduce at the high school, so we kept the administrative leadership at the high school, and then moved to a TOSA model based on enrollment here at Brookside with a lead under administrative leadership under Executive Director Halverson.
Okay. I'm just wrapping my head around it.
It's a prior model that existed before moving out to Riverland.
But it isn't a model that like this dean position that is going to be there, hasn't been there this last school year, is that right?
Correct, because we had a licensed principal out at the ALC.
Okay, so I guess, looking at some of the changes, I have been a little bit confused because it seems like we're cutting one position, but we added another, and I'm sure there's a salary difference, but,
So yeah, if you go back to the summary document that I had sent, it really aligns and goes through the process to where we are. And this model then, that was based before the Riverland shift was around a teacher leader at that time. And that's where, based on the conversation, or the information I provided, we captured that data, that qualitative information to inform the decision, and based on the enrollment of our ALC aligned to a TOSA model.
okay. And then just, I think Gary asked this too, just double checking, we're only voting on the waiver of the hearing right now, right? Okay, sounds good.
So I think, if I'm understanding right as well, that there was a position at the ALC that was not full-time, and it's just reallocating that person. So it's not a new position that's been vetted and hired for, it's within.
Correct. There was a counselor and social worker, and Ashley, Executive Director Mattson, can you speak to that
Yes.
configuration?
Yep, so there is no increase to the amount of teacher FTEs at the ALC when we're moving into this TOSA model.
Yep, go ahead.
Since a position was not being paid, it was vacated at the time, we weren't spending any money on it, we just had an open position that we could fill or that we could move around, is that correct? At the ALC, I mean, we had the principal and the counselor, whatever we called it, and since we didn't have one there, we had this position there, but we weren't paying it, and now we'll be replacing from a principal status into a dean status then, from a financial perspective and everything, is that what I understand?
Yep, so duties then would shift from counselor, part of that counseling type duties, over more aligned as a dean. So no additional FTE.
But I mean, financially, we weren't paying that position at all.
Correct.
Any other questions? Yep, go ahead, Gary.
Well, I'm just trying to, as a board member, I listen to my peers. And, we face financial challenges, which is, we all know that. We've had fellow board members that have warned us that we may have to address some challenges. And I listen to that. And I also know we have board members that haven't supported negotiated agreements because of financial pressure on the district. Now that, to me, that the challenge to us was to make some budget reductions. And in my mind, sometimes those challenges give us an opportunity. And I felt, or I feel, that the charge to the administration of the school district was to examine the use of facilities, examine our administrative structure, and the last place I want anyone to go to is our teachers. And to me, the school district has met the challenge by reassessing the structure administratively, re-examining space. So I just want to be mindful of the fact that I think we have done the responsible thing to reassess all of the operations of the school district. That's our charge.
Well, I appreciate everything that Nikki said, and I agree with her commitment. This is certainly not about people, it's about savings, and one of the nasty, difficult things about the position that we as directors, board members realize is that we have to make decisions that we don't like. And I definitely like Nikki. I've known her for a long time. And this isn't the first time that somebody that that I've known and consider a friend is affected by cuts that the administration and the board felt were necessary. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that this is not an easy decision, and it's not one that we approach casually or flippantly. And it's unpleasant, but I'm convinced that we need to take steps like this, and this probably will not be the last, since we are in a position where we no longer enjoy the advantage of having an increasing student body and increasing funds as a result. We're probably going to need to do things in addition to this. I just wanted to announce that this has nothing to do with the person whose position is under consideration. It's just an adjustment that's necessary in order to achieve our financial goals. I know our fund balance is a number. If we realize a balance less than that number, that simply means that we're going to have to make up for it in the future, and that gets doubly tough. I agree with Dave that we have had some good, generous, so to speak, contract settlements. I don't agree with Dave with the assumption that that's an extravagance. If we are going to continue to have a good educational program and good staff, you have to offer salaries that are consistent with the going cost, the going market. And if we insist on making cuts in that area, we will realize some definite negative effects down the road.
Thank you, Neil. Angie?
All right, I was going to make this comment on the next item, but it seems like we're talking about stuff now. My thought on this has been, I appreciate the information just shared because that is helpful, but when I first read about the rearrangement, and I did vote for it at the time, but it struck me as just, it didn't completely make sense. It didn't seem, and it still doesn't seem to me like it was about cutting finances as much as it was about making a specific staffing change. And I don't know that. I could be totally wrong. That's just how it has struck me. And there's some history with Nikki that I haven't been able to learn. And it's very possible that this is exactly what we need to do, but I don't feel like I have a way to know really the full picture of what's going on and the reasoning for what has happened in the past and why we're here now. And so I voted no on the ULA before because I wasn't comfortable. I'm still not comfortable, so I'll vote yes on waiver of the hearing and then no on the ULA, but that's kind of my reasoning.
Thank you, Director Hoffer. And I just want to remind, and I think Director Score referenced this, it's about the position and not the person. And this is an administrative position. Then when you look at the administrative contract, then that designates who the person is according to the readjustment. So this is not about the person, it's about a position, and it's based on the contract that is agreed upon in the bargaining unit.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Oh, sorry, Dave, it's looking at you, so I didn't know.
Oh, I had it backwards, sorry. I totally agree that we do need to make a position cut. Unfortunately, and as Neil said, there'll be many more in the future because of different circumstances, which declining enrollment is a part of. However, we have also made some changes at the administrative level that isn't at the principal level, but at the administrative level by adding positions and making some changes in the last 2 years also. And I know that's a different unit and all these kind of things. My comment is, did we look in the right area? I do agree we need to make some cuts, unfortunately, and I do agree it is a position, it is not a person. But I will say this, that I don't know if there wasn't some other areas. Now, I'm not in charge, that's just my opinion. Was there some other areas that we could have looked at, that we could have trimmed here at, maybe at the central office?
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everyone, for your comments. Any other comments before we do a roll call vote? All right. All those in favor of the agreement and waiver of the ULA hearing resolution signify by saying aye when your name is called. Darcy, will you call their names?
No.
Davey? Dave?
No.
Aye. Motion carries with majority of 5 to 2. Moving on to 4.2, resolution finalizing placement on ULA. Again, this is an action item. Ashley Matson presenting.
The resolution presented during the meeting here is finalizing placement on ULA. So this resolution is the final step in the ULA process and affirms Ms. Sievertson's placement on unrequested leave of absence.
Madam Chair? Yes. I have a point of order. I feel disadvantaged being remote, and I want to make certain on the last vote that we had, what does a yes vote mean and what does a no vote mean? Because I think I may have voted inappropriately.
Sure, Gary. The agreement, and we were basically approving that the agreement and waiver of having a ULA hearing, the resolution to do that. So and Ashley, you could clarify for me, it's the prerequisite to this next resolution.
That is
So
correct.
what does a yes vote mean on the last vote that we had?
Yes, yep, so the yes vote means that you are agreeing to waive the ULA hearing.
Okay. Madam Chair, I'd like to respectfully change my vote to yes. Again, I feel disadvantaged a bit on the remoteness, so if that's appropriate, I'd like to change to a yes.
It can be appropriate. What we'll need to do is have rescind that motion and redo the motion with the second, and then we'll do a roll call vote with everyone voting what their wish is at that point. So I will ask for a motion to rescind the previous motion. Is there a second? Second. No discussion, all in favor? Aye. Now, is there a motion to approve the resolution on waiving the ULA hearing?
I'll reiterate my motion.
Is there a second? Second. All those in favor by roll call vote, Darcy, will you call the names?
Gary?
Yes?
Is that not? You have to do them all. Yeah, I was, sorry, I was just writing notes. Angie? Aye. Neil? Aye. Bruce? Aye. Davey? Aye. Dave? Aye. Kim? Aye.
The resolution passes 7-0. Yep. Gary, I know what you're feeling. I've been in that place, and it is a little disconnected. So we do appreciate you joining us for this important meeting. Thank you for that. So now we'll move on to 4.2, the resolution finalizing placement on ULA. Ashley Metzen.
Yes, as mentioned, this is the final step in the ULA process. It does confirm Ms. Sievertson being placed on ULA effective June 30th of 2024.
This is an action item. I would entertain a motion. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been motioned and second. Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, okay. Okay.
This is a tough decision, and it's tough because it affects somebody that I know. But that's, I guess, goes with the territory.
Thank you, Neil. All right, we'll go ahead and proceed with roll call vote again. And Darcy, please call the roll.
Gary,
Aye.
Angie,
No.
Neil,
Aye.
Bruce,
Aye.
Davey,
Nay.
Dave,
No.
Kim,
Aye. Majority vote passes 4-3. There's no further actions for today's meeting, so I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.